Good man.
Hi, Mike Sewell, Market Cap Investments. Could you just run past me the profit revenue line that you talked about before, the economic profit being greater than your revenue from your main
Absolutely. I'll give you a few examples. I know that will pique some interest. Sorry, I'll go back. This is one of the problems there. I'll go back. Let me give you an example, and then there are many examples like this, but let me give you a simple one. A classical example would be a company like Ryanair, low-cost operator of airplanes in Europe. Actually, Europe's most profitable airline. It's been for the last 8 or 9 years. Their primary offering is tickets. Their revenue from tickets is tiny. I think it's something in the vicinity of tens of millions. Their profit is 700 million. So in other words, their profit exceeds the revenue from the primary offering. Apple is the same. Their profit is larger than the revenue from selling those iPhones. So that is the classical definition of a firm with a good business model. Was that an answer to your question? Yeah. There are many small ones, but those are the big ones that people know. Yeah.
Question just at the back there.
How did Ryanair do it?
It's very nice when you do this. Here's a slide I prepared earlier type thing. Yes. What does business model entails? Actually, there are about 14 dimensions. I put them on one of the slides for you to read in private. There are 14 dimensions that you have to reflect on when you do a business model innovation. And it requires some creative thinking, so creativity is not bad in that sense. Let me tell you what Ryanair did. Ryanair's realization, first insight, the aha that's core to the rest of the business, is to say that the passengers are not my customers. So what they did is they went to secondary airports and they said, nice airport, right? And the airport said, yeah, very nice airport, right? And then Ryanair said, good business? And they said, no, everybody lands at the big airport over there, right? So Ryanair then said, okay, so how much will you pay me for bringing 500,000 people here next year? Right? So they have an auction, right? And whoever pays the most, that's where they land. So you buy a ticket to Milan, you end up in Bologna. No, Michael O'Leary, who runs the company, would answer, when you complain, he said, well, you got what you paid for, and you paid nothing. So, you know, and so that's it. So these airlines, this airport pays like €1 million a month. And it's not paid by the airport, but by a tourist supporting council and this, that, and the other. And of course, that's a primary first mover advantage, because the second guy with the offer will not get the same amount of money. And then they link into that, so you know you need to get from where you landed up to where you wanted to go. So bus trips, you have a chunk of that, and then you know they have a kind of a slim process. They live on engineering change orders, so if you follow the process, you pay nothing basically. You buy a ticket for £1 or whatever it is, and then you know you print out your boarding card. You have no luggage. You arrive in time. You don't mind where you sit. You don't buy anything. Then it's very cheap. But if you forget to print your boarding card and then up to the airport, it costs you €50 to print a boarding card. You want to check in a luggage, it's €50. You want to talk to a person, it's €50. You want to go ahead in the queue, it's €50. You know, it's all this kind of stuff. You know, and of course now they are looking at putting coin-operated, or have already put coin-operated loose on some of the planes. And of course, in conjunction with that, they offer you free water in the waiting gate.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing, and the whole system is worked brilliantly through. And basically what they've done, which is the core of business model innovation, it has two dimensions. One is they figured out a good business model in another industry. And they said, what would that look like in ours? In this case, it's the advertising business model on the internet. You get paid by eyeballs. That's the model they use in the airline. So the passengers are the justification for charging the airports. So that's number one. The other one is they have flipped costs that other competitors have into revenues. So the big boys have to pay to land at Milan airport. Ryanair gets paid to land in Bologna. So there are a set of characteristics around these type of things. So that's just an example of, very simplistic example of Ryanair. Yeah.
Another question? Ben, just here. Just here. The answer.
Okay.
A couple of questions. Ben Landsberg from Oz Industry. A couple of questions. Firstly, the talk you've just given us has been predicated on Australia essentially staying a high cost
Yeah.
economy.
Yeah.
How likely is that to happen? I mean, we're basically a high cost economy now because of the resources boom. Is that resources boom going to last? And are we going to stay a high cost economy? And does it matter?
Well, there are two issues around these. The first question is, yes, I do think you're going to stay a high-cost economy. I think the latest forecast from Treasury is 25 years. So something along those lines. I mean, it's just to look at how long the resources last, the unutilized resources you have, and you know the relative growth of different countries. Even if China goes down, other countries are coming up. You know, Indonesia, India, and so on. So I don't see that necessarily the demand for the Australian resources are going to decline, and that's the primary driver of your currency. So I think you have to work on being a high-cost economy for quite some time. And to the second question is, no, it doesn't matter. If you adapt to it, it has no implication whatsoever. But the transition, like all transition, is going to be very painful. You're going to lose a lot of industries who were predicated on being low cost. You know? You can't produce a commodity which is price sensitive in a high-cost environment. It's impossible. Now, and you cannot, as a country, afford to subsidize that infinitely, indefinitely. You know, you can't keep subsidizing $400 million of energy costs for 25 years. Right? So, you know, there is you just have to work, learn, live with it. You know, it's going to disappear. We lose industries regularly in this part of the world as well. You know, because they don't stay in the top right-hand corner. They get lazy and they slip down and then they die. Well, that's life. Schumpeterian economics. The only thing you have to ensure is you have enough growing up there. It's, you know, I've been talking about industries in manufacturing, but it's actually equally true for the other ones. Sweden is one of the largest producers per world of music. We have a huge music and music-oriented industry, and not a lot of people know that. Of course, you know ABBA because they got a kickoff in Australia. But I mean, it's, by the way, they are still a huge IP earner for the country. But I mean, there are lots of other things. The whole music business is enormous in Scandinavia. Likewise, is the whole software issue around telecommunications and industrial software. So there's lots of issues around that area. So all of these things, but they have to live on providing high value that still is value for money at high cost. If you don't do that, we're dead. It's as simple as that.
Perhaps can I just ask a follow-up question? Can you point to some countries in recent times that are successfully making that transition from low cost to high?
Singapore. There's an example I would say straight off, you know, close by. Some people may not call it a country, but that's another issue. But it's, I mean, they do give dividends to their citizens, so it's probably more unlike a company. Low cost to high cost otherwise? No, but there are countries on the journey. I would say probably places like some parts of South America, like Mexico, and which used to be relatively low cost, to getting less low cost, and Chile. Uruguay is probably another good example. They've gone from a low cost to a high cost economy and doing very well. So yes, there are examples, absolutely, but none of them have predicated their move on a hands-off approach, allowing the market to do what it does. Because the market would always do what it does. It may just not do what you want it to do. So it's your choice.